Hello, everyone. My name is Linda Velez-Reblando. Thank you so much for joining me today in the Happier HR, a Conversation project. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. It's been in my heart for a while, and I honestly just want to have conversations with you, my HR people, whatever you are, in the world, whether we know each other or not. I'd love to um, just hear your thoughts about some of the things I want to present to you, different topics, really. And I just want to get your ideas, know your experiences with this, and hopefully at the end of this conversations, both you and I actually can learn to expand our possibilities, explore new opportunities, very, very important, increase our self-awareness, and with that, hopefully be a little happier. Um, so thank you for joining me. And if you are watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. I'm going to move down to the next slide and give you a little bit of information about me. If you don't know me, although I think many of you do, maybe I've worked with you in the past or we're just friends that know each other, but if you don't know me, I am Linda Velez-Reblando. First and foremost, I'm a wife, I'm a mom to two beautiful kids. You can see they're teenagers, and two furry kids as well. We have a little dog and a cat, and sometimes they love each other and sometimes they don't. That's how that goes. I'm also an HR professional. I have 22 years of experience in HR. I started in HR as an intern, and I went all the way up in the ladder, up to an HR business partner role, which I recently held till this past summer. So after the summer, I decided to actually quit my job and become a coach for you guys, a coach for leadership. I also hold a financial coaching certification, so I love talking about money, and I hope that's one of the topics that I can share with you here. Um, and my mission, like I said, is just help my HR peeps grow their careers really without sacrificing the quality of life. This was my story. I did it for many, many years as I was climbing the corporate ladder, and I know there's a better way. And I discovered that 3 years ago through coaching and a lot of self-reflection and self-awareness. And I just want to share that with you guys, and take what resonates, ignore what doesn't, but hopefully it can be of help to you. Okay, so I wanted to start the session with what I'm going to call our intention. And to me, my intention putting this together, and I hope this is our mutual intention, is to increase our levels of happiness. And I will certainly talk more about emotions and happiness through this series. But I think the best way to do this is by increasing, one, our self-awareness, exploring new opportunities, and expanding our possibilities. And those are things that, unfortunately, because we live in a very rush world and in our profession that sometimes demands our attention 24/7, those things can actually escape us from time to time. And sometimes we go in what I'm going to call autopilot. So that's how we live our lives, and that's how we work and live. And when we start increasing our levels of self-awareness and exploring new opportunities, also new possibilities come up. So I think this is one of the best ways to increase our levels of happiness. And what I want to say is, today, I can say that I'm a happier person than I was 3 years ago. And like I said, I discovered a lot of this through coaching, whether being coach or self-coaching. But that doesn't mean that life still happens to me. You know, I still have times when I go down the spiral and I cry a lot. I'm a crier, so I cry a lot. And, you know, that doesn't mean that I don't feel happier. The reason why I say that I feel happier is I feel much, much at ease with myself. I accept myself. I become very aware of my emotions as well as my needs. And overall, even though life is still life and will be 50% amazing and 50% crappy sometimes, um, I still feel at ease and at peace with myself. And this is something that I was never able to do before. And the unfortunate thing is nobody talks about this, nobody teaches this. I wish, you know, we knew this as we were growing up. And I don't think it's anybody's, you know, intention not to help us. It's just the way society is set up. So anyway, so my intention for this series is to increase our levels of happiness by increasing our self-awareness, exploring new opportunities, and expanding our possibilities. And I want you to notice that I say our intention and our happiness and our possibilities, because as much as I want you to get from this, I get from the conversations as well. Okay. So I want to start by defining those three things, if you will. Self-awareness is the first one, and the definitions I'm going to give, these are my definitions. I didn't go to Google and look it up or to any dictionary, but this is how I understand this concept. So self-awareness is knowing yourself, knowing what you want, and knowing where your attention is. And I think knowing yourself and what you want, you probably all can agree that, yeah, it does self-awareness. That's kind of what I know. But where your attention is, I think many of us live our lives not really paying attention. We focus for a minute in what needs our immediate attention, and then something else grab our attention, and that's kind of how we bounce from one thing to the next without really paying attention and putting intention into what we're doing. So that's how I define self-awareness. So what I want to do now is I want to give you guys a couple of minutes, and if you have a piece of paper, I should have said that, get a piece of paper and pen. So what I want to do is give you some questions for you to think about. Okay, and you can either answer them now with whatever comes up for you, or when we go to our discussion part, then we can dive into this deeper. So the first question is, why are you here today? What from the information that I put out there grab your attention, right? Why do you want to be part of these conversations? So why are you here? The second question is, why do you want to increase your happiness? Right? I mean, it is called the happier HR. So I'm making the assumption, maybe not, but I'm making the assumption that you may want to increase your happiness. Why do you want that? The third question is, what is the predominant feeling you experience on a daily or weekly basis? What is the predominant feeling you experience on a daily or a weekly basis? And this is going to take some introspection and maybe some sitting quiet. Or some of you may know exactly what that is. If it's something that is very acute in you and that is there all the time. For some people, it's anxiety, for example. But for some others, it might not be as easy. So what is the predominant feeling that you experience on a weekly or daily basis? And the last question for self-awareness is, what prevents you from experiencing more happiness? What prevents you from experiencing more happiness? And in that question, I want you to think of all the things that prevent you from being happier today. Okay? So that is self-awareness. And these are the questions, so you can have them, grab them from there. The next pillar is opportunities. And the way I define opportunities is situations that present themselves or that we create that work towards our advantage. Okay? Situations that present themselves or that we create that work towards our advantage. If I'm being honest, I think we create every situation we're in, and we'll hopefully talk more about that as the series progresses. But is it the things that for you come out of the blue, or that you work towards and create, and that they work towards your advantage, what you want? Okay. So for opportunities, the questions that I want you to think about is, what kind of opportunities would you like to pursue today? Or maybe in the near future? What kind of opportunities would you like to pursue? I also want you to think about what things prevent you from pursuing those things today. What things? It could be people, places, yourself, so many things, right? But what prevents you from pursuing these opportunities? And third but not least is, what things can you do to open yourself up to new opportunities? What things can you do to open yourself up to new opportunities? Okay. So let's move on to the last, these are the questions there, to the last pillar, which is possibilities. And the way I define possibilities is that what I have desired to achieve or obtain. Okay? Look at the word desire, something that you really, really want and is within you, right? It's born from within you, that you want to either get, achieve, obtain. Okay? Now, when we talk about possibilities, I see it different from opportunities. I think when you talk, for me, when I'm talking about possibilities, is opening myself to what could I do in the future? What could be possible for me today that I haven't even thought about, because it's not even in my realm of thinking. Okay? It's sometimes what I call those really far away dreams, right? Those are the things that I call possibilities. Okay, so the questions on the possibilities is, what goal are you actively working towards? Okay, and I really want you to think about this. What goal, just name one, you're actively pursuing and working towards? Are there any goals? Are there no goals? If I were to answer this question several years ago, I really had no goals, except of course the goals that, I had to complete our work because somebody up there said, hey, these are the projects we're going to be working. But other than that, I didn't have goals. I was just surviving, right? Trying to get the kids to school and get to work, and come back, and the kids from school, cook, there's a birthday party over here and that over there on the weekend, and errands. And so I was just in survival mode. So there was no goal that I was pursuing other than, oh my God, I'm just trying to get to the next day. The other question I want you to think is, what do you really want? And I want to stress that. What do you really, really, really want? What is that thing, that desire, that dream that you're even afraid to say out loud? Because you think it's unattainable. You think it's impossible. You think it's crazy. Do you have one? And if you don't have one, why not? Okay. And the third question, which is similar to what I just asked, is what dream do you continue to ignore or push because it seems impossible right now? I think a very simple example that comes to mind is losing weight, right? Some people have a goal of losing 10 pounds, 5 pounds. Some people want to lose 100 pounds. When you have to lose 100 pounds, even when you have to lose 5, depending on what you're thinking about it, it seems impossible, right? And that is that dream that you then continue to ignore and then continue to bench on the cookies, right? So what dream do you continue to ignore because it seems impossible? Okay, so those are the questions we're going to be discussing during our conversation, and I cannot wait to learn more about you and just learn what you have to say about it. Okay, so these are the questions on possibilities that I just discussed. Before well, the way I want to do this, guys, is I want to have a recording of the first 15, 20 minutes of the conversation, which is just me truly presenting a topic, just like I just did right now. And the rest of the conversation, I'm actually not going to record because I want it to be an open, honest conversation. I want you guys to feel very comfortable talking within the group, and it's not going to be a recording I'm going to share. Okay. But before I let you guys go, in terms of stopping the recording, I want you to know that next week we're going to have another conversation. It's going to be next Friday. Again, this is going to be every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. So kind of switch for your time zone. So our next conversation is going to be about what I call emotional intelligence, EQ, right? The one EQ tool that you really need to use to bring self-awareness. Okay, this is a tool I use all the time since I learned it. It's easy, and it's super, super, super impactful. So I want to share that tool with you guys next week. So I hope to see everybody here next week and maybe some more people. So I'm going to stop the recording and then I'm going to jump into the conversation. Thank you for being here.